Happy holidays! Are you having a good time? Are you enjoying yourself? Do you feel energized? Those are very important ingredients when it comes to having happy holidays. So, are you ready for it? Are you up for it? Are you already doing it? Well, if not, and even if you are, I've got 7 steps on how to have the best happy holidays. Now, let me start with the very first one because I think it's a really important one, and that's about giving someone else hugs, reaching out to others. And as you may know, this is the one I'm sending to others, and this is the one that you actually can use to send your hugs to someone else. So it says hugs there. Do you see it? Hugs. And it also says, you are not alone. So find someone you can reach out to, someone you haven't spoken to for a long time, and just say, hey, I appreciate you. And I hope you are having a very happy holiday. So reach out, give people hugs. And those who are close to you, maybe you want to give them an actual physical hug. And here is a very important thing to remember. Not everyone is around who was around last year or the year before or the year before that one. We don't know what is going to happen. It's so important to make the most of life and be happy while doing it. So give someone a hug and let them know, I appreciate you. I love you. And if you cannot do it physically, like I said, do it in person, like I did right here. Yep, this is me. And you can do it by downloading this one. Yep, it's downloadable. Just go to the link, which is in the description. And, go pimp it yourself. Do something fun. Be creative. Now, I'm going straight to the second thing because I wrote a blog post. And the blog post has 7 steps in there. And it's about how to stay sane and energized during these holidays. So it's like a 7 step post which talks about taking breaks and all those kind of things. And, we have a tendency of running from one event to the next one, to the next one, to the next one. So, for instance, Christmas Eve, we might go to church, depending on how old you are. It might be late for you. Maybe if you go to Mass, you can go to an early Mass, but also to a late one. What do you do straight after? And also, because it's holiday season, you might stay up late and do things you normally don't do. So watch what you're doing, because if you go from, like I said, Christmas Eve straight into visiting one side of the family, and the next day to the other side of the family, and the next day you are doing something with friends, and then, oh, we've got the weekend, and you're doing something special too. And special is good, but running around, tiptoeing, that's not good. So make sure that you do also eat healthy. Emphasis on healthy, because there's a lot of food that isn't that healthy, which is like fat or with a lot of sugary substances. So over here we have something, it's a specific kind of bread. There's raisins in there, which is good. There are nuts in there, which is already a little bit like, I'm not sure if I like that. I don't like the taste of certain unknown things which shouldn't be there normally. So there are almonds on the outside, but they are like flimsy thin. So the first thing I do is I take them off. Sometimes they also have this dip around it. That's no go. I won't even buy that one. Well, actually, I didn't buy it. I ate some at a friend's yesterday. And then there is this almond paste. It's delicious. And oh my God, when it comes to calories, ooh. Well, recently I learned that this almond paste is actually something that's typically Dutch. We have it in a lot of cookies too. And I remember that my dad used to make all those cookies. He was really fond of it. Now, as you may know, my dad was a teenager close to an adolescent during World War II. So he has endured the hunger winter actually in the Netherlands. So yeah, it makes sense that he loves some good food. So, and well, it's part of the holidays. I remember that there was also something else. I'm not sure what that's called, but it was a different kind of dough. You would do it in the oven. They would do some other elements in there which I don't like. Yes, I'm very, but I do eat it because it's part of the whole cake. Let's put it that way. It's in a certain shape, and yes, guess what we have? We have the almond paste in there, but the dough itself, I'm not sure what's in there. So you can just buy it in packages and then make it. It's delicious. My brother is so good at making that stuff. I asked, did you make one? Yes, I did. Do you have some left? No, I don't. Well, there you had it. So, but that's one reason I would drive over to him just to get that stuff. So maybe, just maybe I'll look at him very, with a big smile over the phone later today and ask if I would drop by. Would you buy another one of those packages and create one? Not that it's very healthy, but it's so mentally good. And what it does is it reminds me of the days back home when my folks were still alive. So it's part of the Christmas holiday spirit for me. Okay, I'm going straight to number 3, which is express yourself. And I just realized something. Last week, I used those magnetic boards and I totally forgot about those. But what you don't know, but what I do know, I wrote something down. But yes, I need to remember using those magnetic boards. So, talking about expressing yourself, I don't know if you've already checked out the Christmas challenge, but the Christmas challenge is about expressing yourself and doing fun things. So I already talked about making this yours. Remember, from here to there. Yeah, there. So this is typically me. Now, not all people see it, but I actually have blue hair. So depending on the light, you can see that I've got blue hair. And of course, I want people to have a Merry Christmas. So I actually designed this one on the iPad. I designed this one too. This one I drew in 2021. So people could just pimp it, color it. And then this time around, I had some fun doing this, and being creative is kind of nice. So there's the Christmas tree over there. There's Merry Christmas here. And this is me. And of course, the hugs. The hugs. So I talked about this one. I also talked about music. And I think that tonight I am going to talk about writing. So short after this one, there's going to be one on Instagram. And then I'll be talking about, like I said, probably about writing. I'm not entirely sure because I like to put the emphasis on the first ones, which are the most important. And for me, it was sending the hugs out there, then also music, because we are singing a lot of songs during the holidays. And music is such a great way to express yourself. And we don't know this, but just the emotions which are linked to music if played right. And there are memories. A lot of us have memories which are linked to certain songs. Now, when it comes to expressing yourself, speaking up, speaking out, using your voice, it's actually kind of important to also sing, because when you sing, you consciously have to use that voice in order to be heard. And well, the good thing about the holidays is you are allowed to sing, whether it's in a karaoke bar, whether it's listening to the radio, whether it's getting around the dish. Um, you can do it, especially when unwrapping presents, which I assume you have done by now. Then yes, just sing. Normally people will have a frown like, really? But this time around, just go do it. Now, like I said, you can also express yourself through drawings, through through writing. There are a lot of things that you can do. And in the Christmas challenge, I get into those. So for those who haven't followed the Christmas challenge just yet, go to the reels on Instagram. By the way, I do go live on Instagram, so you might want to check out the Instagram page. And I also make sure that it goes to YouTube. Now, what's the difference between watching live and actually signing up for the challenge, because it's a challenge? Well, the difference is that I not only give you assignments, which I actually also do on the live, but there's so much more, like an introduction module, lots of stuff that you actually can think about to make it the best one ever. Now, and the good news is it's a free challenge. Of course, it would be appreciated if you pay something, for instance, like €1 a day or whatever you want to pay for it. So that's up to you. I don't know how much money you've got. And yes, you don't know how much you will appreciate it until, of course, you have signed up for it. But the good news is we are already 2 days in there. So you can have a quick peek at what's posted on Instagram. So, but it's all up to you. Number 4, pictures. I love taking pictures. So I don't know if you remember, but last year I actually, hang on for a sec. Okay. Well, actually last year I started posting something every day on Instagram. So that was kind of cool. I didn't think I would last 24 days during Christmas, let alone do it for an entire month up till the new year, let alone doing it over an entire year. Yes, I did it over an entire year, and I'm proud of myself. So now let's combine pictures with the previous one, which was expressing yourself. Then you see that I post quote cards, and then the next time it's pictures or videos, and then quote cards again. Sometimes behind the quote cards there are actual pictures, and I want to give a message by doing so. So yes, if correct, I posted. Well, now you actually see it. He's got a bandana underneath. It's, after all, Chief Rockstar. So yeah, there we go. Chief Rockstar. I love this little guy. And, right now he's still allowed to wear his Christmas outfit, his Santa suit. He's a way for me to express myself too, of course. But the pictures could be of him with me. The pictures could be what is being said. What is? Oh, well, I don't know, learnings, what that is. Oh, the Insta ID. I'm sorry. I'm having a little bit of trouble reading the fine print right now. Yeah, I'm getting older. It's the way it is. Lady Lexi Speaks Up. That's where you go to. So, and yeah, uh, there's being said, drop the StreamYard link to join the live stream. I actually gave the StreamYard link to some people, but I'm not doing it, not showing it to everyone, because when I did so, when I first started out with StreamYard, there were some very crazy people who showed some really vulgar videos the moment that I let them on stage. So I always want to know, who is it I'm going to invite on stage? So if you leave enough positive comments, then yeah. But I do respond to the whole thing. So Lady Lexi Speaks Up is my Instagram handler if you want to check it out. And it's also the same on YouTube. Thank you for asking that. I really appreciate it. So, so getting back to pictures and expressing yourself, I always have to get back to where I was. I took pictures of me next to Santa. I've taken pictures with me next to the Christmas tree. I've taken pictures, and that's something that I'm going to talk about in the next step, next to a steam train. Other people have taken pictures of me and my friends and the kiddos between Santa and Miss Santa in front of that same steam train. So those are things, memories that you want to capture. And it's so nice to be able to actually, I see a hi here on Instagram. So that's cool. I cannot look at my phone and look at the screen. I'll honestly say I get very distracted. So I try not to. As a matter of fact, every once in a while, when I'm meeting up with someone, I will put the phone down upside down. And I don't mean a top and bottom switch, but literally looking at the back of the phone. Because when all these messages pop up, it really distracts me. So, but yes, you can send me messages. That's no problem whatsoever. But getting back to the pictures, those memories, they are priceless. So for instance, do you remember that I talked about that special cake we called tulband? It's something that my parents used to make every year. So that tradition has passed on to my sister and my brother. And I'll honestly say, I'm so not good at making it myself, but you know, they're champs, so that's good. And looking at those pictures and what we would have for Christmas dinner, but also seeing my mom and my dad and all of us together. It's, you know, I love it. Seeing my siblings around the dish, those are priceless memories. And actually, just before my dad died, they were married 60 years, if correct. And I'm wondering whether it was 60 or 65. So he met my mom when she was 14. They got married when she was 18. So that meant that he was 26. He died when he was close to 88. Yeah, so it could have been, I think it was 60, 56, no, 65. No, that's something to think about at a later date. But actually, between Christmas and New Year's Eve, we had dinner together as if we knew it was going to be the last one. So my dad passed away in 2012. So 76, 80. Okay, sorry, let me rephrase that. So he was born in 24. So that means 76 is the age he would have had from the moment that he was born. But we concluded that he got married somewhere at 24. So then I have to distract 12 years because it was 2012. So yeah, then we get to 50, no, 60, 64. Yeah, so probably 65 years. Okay, I know that they had called to send him something special, and for some reason he didn't want that. I don't know what happened. And I think he was in a horrible mood because he was in a lot of pain back then. But he did, well, actually, I sent a message to the local municipality, to the mayor, and they got a huge, they got all these flowers, a huge bouquet of flowers in a letter. And then, of course, my dad was like, but, it's, you are not supposed to send that to them. They are supposed to do it by themselves, which they had done because they reached out to them. But for some reason, I don't know. So pictures, take lots of pictures, having fun pictures. Now, I know that especially when people are my age, there is this complaint. No, I don't want to be in any pictures. I don't look good. Oh my God, there are so many friends of mine who complain about being in a picture. Well, the news, it won't get any better, but it's part of life that we age. So, just be the best you can be, have a smile. I mean, older people are beautiful too. I mean, just look at actors who are older people, look at musicians who are older. And it's about what you radiate, what you express, what you show people. It's about those eyes and what the eyes are telling other people. So I'll honestly say, I know there are musicians out there who wear sunglasses on stage. Now, if you wear sunglasses because of the light, I get it. But if you do it just to cover up your eyes, I'm not really a big fan of that. So I actually have a picture of being with the singer of House of Lords. And I actually took down his shades, his sunglasses, because I wanted to look in his eyes. That was years ago, but it's still a very fun memory. Okay, now getting back to, no, I'm sticking for one more second to the pictures. So what pictures also do is they show your state of mind. So when you take selfies, then, or other people take pictures from you, they show you if you're tired or if you're actually pumped and happy. And we want you to feel as best as possible. Of course, things can always happen which are very emotional. And, that's okay too. Looking back on those pictures, you know what has happened during that time. So there's no shame in that, showing who you are. And when we talk about expressing yourself, yes, showing who you are, there's nothing wrong with it. If you are ashamed of yourself, whether it's because of age or because of other circumstances, then there are two things I want to tell you. If you can change it because you were born that way, or, well, like I said, it has to do with old age, embrace who you are. You are there. And the mere fact that you are there probably gives joy to other people. There's always something you say or do which will make other people smile and be happy. There is a lot of experience that you have got that others don't, and they need to hear. As for the other one, well, maybe there is something that you can do about it. Do it, take one step at a time, please. So if it's confrontational, I looked at Sorry. Yeah, that's part of being live. So one of the pictures I saw was actually from a decade ago, and was the first one where I had crutches. So for the life of me, I don't know why no one had this phenomenal idea of getting me crutches when I couldn't walk more than a few feet. But it wasn't until I was at IKEA with my sister that we ended up at the local ER, and they put a bandage on my foot, on my ankle, and they gave me crutches. So I was standing next to the car showing off my crutches. They were pimped. Yes, I like to pimp things. And well, never in a million years would I have suspected that 10 years later, I would still have trouble with my stability. So I don't use the crutches that often anymore, but I do have new braces. And yes, they are expression of me too, because they show that pimped pin-up version that you are looking at on the side in the corner. So no, I didn't create that one. That was a friend of mine who actually did so. And she did a great job. So you see the earpiece, the blue hair, you see the stars, and you see the swallows that she tattooed on my arm. So it was the first one I got from her. It was her third or fourth one. She was amazing at what she did, and unfortunately, she's no longer around. So yeah, pictures, state of mind. I'm so happy that I took pictures of her, because, I cherish those nowadays. Number 5, do something special. I already said it, but I don't know if you have heard it. Depends on when you are joining. But I did something fun yesterday. I went on a steam train. I didn't know we had steam trains here in Holland. And then a friend of mine, very good friend of mine, where I go to like weekly, sometimes more often. And she had arranged for me she had given me a ticket to the steam train museum. And they have museum cards, year cards, so they can go on whenever they want. All they had to do was make a reservation, which they did. And so I was on the steam train with her and the kiddos, and I loved every single minute of it. What I loved even more was when we got off. Why? Because I was able to just look at that steam train. Now, a number of you don't know this, but I love taking pictures and I love drawing. And I've had steam train calendars for years now. At some point, I stopped buying them. Got a little bit harder. There was something to do with, okay, where can I find it? But we actually talked about it, and I might actually get a museum year card myself and then go there, because it's really nearby, and just sit down. I actually have a camping chair. And, and that's a fun memory. I'll talk about that one in a little bit. But yes, being able to sit there and just draw the train, that's kind of cool. So one of the things that I was doing, I was looking at, okay, so where does the steam come from? We know, of course, the big pipe, but there's also steam from the side of the train. And this time I got to see it, which was really nice, really cool. So talk about something special. That one was really, really, really special to me. I loved every single minute of being on there. Of course, we had the happy holiday treats too. So we have this round thing, which is fried. It's a bunch of dough. And yes, it can have raisins in it or not. Is it healthy? Absolutely not, because it's fried and, it's this big. So, well, there's a lot of fat in there. So it was the first one this year. I normally try to refrain from them as much as possible, because I can keep eating them. Now, we can put sugar on there, so sugar powder, which makes it even worse. But it was delicious. It's part of those, special treats. So getting back to what was it? Recharge. Make sure you also eat something healthy next to it and not just the bad food, which is ultra delicious. We don't want to take off or have to work out just to get off all those holiday pounds. No, we want to think about it. There's a number of calories you can eat each day. So, you know, just see what you can eat in addition to it. Maybe a nice healthy salad. I cannot eat normal salads. I can eat a spinach salad, but no lettuce for me. So, but yeah, there must be something that you can do. So do something special. What is that one thing that's only available during the holidays? And what's that one thing you can only do when you actually have time to go do it? So think about that. What is your one special thing that you can do? And maybe there are more special things that you can actually do. So um, being part of the Christmas challenge is actually something special as well. So think about that one. Now, number 6. Ta-da, do that one thing. What am I talking about? That one thing that you said you were going to do all year, the previous years, but never got around to doing. So for me, it had to do with cleaning this place up. Well, there is going to be one day in the near future that you look behind me and there is going to be all this stuff as in on display. Right now, there is still some stuff that I need to sort out because it's the first thing I walk into. But yes, behind this little guy, there is the tiny house that you can see. Oh, there you go. So that's something that's very specific just for me. On the other side, there's actually the truck, which you cannot see very well. I'm sitting in front of it, but it's there. And yes, there are some Christmas decorations, which are the stars rightly behind that one. That's uh, no, there. That's hanging on the wall. So it's like native Indian ornament, and I put some stars on there. So that's kind of nice. But yes, also behind me is a battle board that's on that side. That's with the green post-it notes. That's actually one where you can put on what you want to do during the month. Now, I didn't come up with the battle board. That has to be contributed to Brendan Burchard. He came up with that one. And well, what it does is it works towards something that you want to finish. So we have a few days left. So do that one thing. So, well, let me say it like this. Next week, when you're going to watch Friday Night Live, then all the junk behind me will be gone because I said to myself, I want to wrap up, finish up whatever is left on here. So you have no clue what has been done, but so many things have been taken out, sold, given away, thrown away. Yes, that too. And it's getting better and better. So right now I've got 2 relax chairs here. So my husband wants one to stay here, but the other one I want it gone, and someone is going to pick it up. But he was very opportunistic, and he said, "Well, I should be able to put it in the back of my car." And I was like, "Well, do you know how big it is?" And of course, we don't have a lot of pickup trucks over here. We don't have a lot of fans. So there's a big difference between, for instance, this country and, say, the US. We are lacking space, which includes on parking lots as well. So, no, we don't have, well, actually, we do have a lot of, I think they're called MPVs nowadays. The bigger cars, the bigger cars where a lot of people can sit in their SUVs. Yeah, that's what they call them. And then I do see a number of those big, the Ram something. So those are those huge pickup trucks, and people are standing next to it, and I'm like, okay, can you even see the hood when you're standing next to it? And well, it must be very expensive driving that one. But yes, the goal behind that one thing is to get clarity. I've talked about clarity a lot, and I'll keep on talking about clarity. So, yeah, what's that one thing that you could use clarity on? And by working on that one thing, it will tell you a lot about you. Are you postponing it? Are you taking action? Do you need help from others to actually go do it? You know, earlier today, I was looking at this thing on the internet. It's called Marketplace. And to my surprise, everything has been sold on there or reserved. And I was like, wow, I didn't know that was possible. I had all this Lego stuff here, which I was planning on doing stuff with. And some were still like closed boxes. So I don't know if you know this. And fortunately, I'm dealing with it now. I had this thing called fear of missing out. Well, I think it's always going to be part of me. The fear of missing out has to do with not having certain things growing up. We didn't have a lot of money. And then music-wise, Eric Carr passed away, the drummer of Kiss. So you had Peter Criss, the original drummer. Then there was Eric Carr, the Fox. Unfortunately, he died of cancer in the heart. And then he was replaced by Eric Singer. Of course, there was a swap momentarily of Eric Singer and Peter Criss, but eventually it was Eric Singer who stayed with Kiss. Now, I have to say, when he still had his long blonde hair, oh my God, that looked so cool. Then, of course, he had to dye it and trim it to look like Peter Criss, so it became black. But yes, all of them great drummers, but Eric Carr, he inspired me. And for those who have heard me before, he had this thunderous drumming, and on Creatures of the Night, the first song, and when you open the album, you hear this dunk 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 dunk, then the guitar, and then it starts. And he had me right there. So unfortunately, I never got to see him live. Well, actually, I did on Scheveningen Beach, which was from a distance. But yes, I would have loved to meet the guy, to have met the guy. But, I was a teenager. I was kind of young back then. And my parents were like, you're not going there. And by the time he died, I was at the Academy of Arts. And it was a really weird period in that time, early 90s, grunge period. And I didn't know what to do with it. And, I missed it. I completely missed it. That he was very ill. So fortunately for me, there are a lot of videos and recordings out there, which they are showing right now. So thank you to Bruce Kulick, the guitar player who was in Kiss for a number of years. He was a very influential guitar player, just like Ace Frehley was. So Ace Frehley was the original guitar player, but Bruce Kulick, I still follow him nowadays. And whenever I have a chance to see him play live, I will go there. He's one amazing guy, and he makes sure that the legacy of Eric Carr remains alive. So thank you so much for doing so. And well, when we talk about FOMO, another drummer recently passed, well, actually at the beginning of this year. He recently would have had his birthday. I never got to see him live either, but he does inspire me with being as goofy, just like Eric Carr, by the way, and being as humble, just like Eric Carr. And, the both of them, I love to play along on the drums. And the other drummer, James Kodak, he has this energy. And that's what I love, watching him, listening to him sing, hearing him sing in the background. He had his own band at some point. So when there was time, he would do that. He even wrote a book when he was in jail. Yeah, he was in jail because he didn't use the proper etiquette when he was abroad. He didn't know, he had no clue that he was insulting someone. Apparently, authorities thought differently, so they put him in jail. They treated him very well, and he wrote a book during the time, and he was about to finish it, as far as I know, but then he passed away. So hopefully, we will be able to hear, or better said, read that one. That would be cool. So, yes, do that one thing that makes all the difference to help you get clarity. And, well, I told you about FOMO, fear of missing out. Actually, by getting rid of a lot of stuff, I have started dealing with that FOMO. And also, it's now almost 4 years since my mom passed away. And it's easier to part from the stuff that belonged to her, my dad. I mean, that was their stuff, that was their legacy, not necessarily mine. So I'm sorry, I'm a little distracted because I want this little guy to be more prominent, visible. There we go. Yeah. I'm really fond of Chief Rockstar. So, and as for Chief Rockstar, I wanted to say something about the little guy. Well, when talking about doing something special, I actually got him in Chicago. It was Build Your Bear workshop where I got him. And there was something else that I wanted to share with you too, and I have no clue what it is. That really doesn't matter. If it's important, I will get back to it. So, but going to Chicago was actually one of those things that I wanted to do too. I wanted to see how they were recording Chicago PD. I want to see the firehouse from Chicago Fire. So I feel very fortunate and lucky that I've been able to go there twice, seeing them do so, and actually going to Chicago 3 times to just enjoy Chicago. I love the Chicagoans. They are great people. So again, what is that one thing that you want to do that you need to finish up this year? Well, the question is, do you need to or do you want to? And the why behind it, that makes all the difference. Now, number 7, choose you. And yes, join the Christmas challenge because it shares a lot about what you can do to have fun, to have good times, which in this case are linked to the Christmas holidays. So there are very specific things that you can do when you are there. When you are during when it's this time of year. I'm still a little bit like, Chicago, when I was there. Let me put something else underneath. So I'm using my boxing gloves to have this little guy sit up straight. So now it's easier. Why do I have boxing gloves? Well, these ones are not so necessarily for the boxing, but they're there to do push-ups. So I cannot put my hand flat on the floor. When I do it like this, then this dislocates quite easily. So I do it like this. So that's a big difference. But yes, choose you. We've talked about recharging yourself, remaining relaxed during those holidays. So are you going to run around from one party to the next one, from Christmas parties, possibly to birthday parties, whatever it is that you want to do? And so, you can say no to others and say yes to yourself. I mean, especially this Christmas holiday, we had, of course, the Christmas days. and which were on Wednesday and Thursday. So for you, that usually means that you get the day off on Friday, not all the time, but usually, yes. And then it's Saturday and Sunday. And of course, depending on your line of work, you might have the time off as well. So, what are you going to do during those days? And then, of course, Monday and Tuesday are sort of normal days, except for Tuesday, it's Christmas Eve. And then Wednesday, we have the day off again. So you can use it as a long break to actually do stuff for yourself. So choose you. And like I said, if you sign up for the Christmas challenge, you can choose whether it's free of charge or if you want to pay something for it. I mean, after all, I do put a lot of work into it. But yes, just by listening to the post on Instagram, going to the Instagram live, that can already make a difference. And use a notebook to write things down. So in addition to this, I talked about expressing yourself, remember? And one of the things that I've been talking about is about writing. So there's also this clarity challenge that I'm doing this entire month. So for 31 days, there is input on how to get clarity. And in the course, I've been talking about meditation, the importance of writing, the importance or the effect the subconscious mind has on you, linked to mindsets and all those kind of things. And so there's a lot described in there. And when it comes to doing that one thing, actually for me, it also has to do with finishing that training the way I want to. So yeah, it's going to be finished by December 31st, 31 days. So I've got 31 days to do it. And of course, we are way over the middle of the month. So yeah, it's kind of cool to work on it. And now also, in addition to it, the Christmas challenge, I'm getting better at it. I'm getting better at it every day. So yes, there's the clarity challenge too, if you want to do a little bit more, as in working on yourself and figuring out why are things working out and why are they not working out. And well, as for the clarity challenge, I tried to do it. Well, no, let me correct myself. I actually did it a few times when I came back from the US, but I never managed to clean up the clutter here because I was still emotionally attached to a lot of stuff. And like I said, FOMO was there big time, but I have had some support and everything has changed. And now I'm still working on it like every day. So I'm very grateful for the people in my life who have helped me out. Now, talking about my week, because on Friday Night Live, I also talk about what has happened in this last week. I don't just want to talk about the last week. I don't want to talk just about the last month, but let's talk about the last year, and not so much my year, but let's talk about your year. So what have you done this year? Were there any doubts that you had? Were there things that you were going to pick up on, but you didn't? What kind of events have been holding you back? Things which happened in the past, but you weren't able to overcome. So when I talk about clarity, I literally mean get clarity to improve your life, get clarity on what it is that you want to achieve, not just at the end of this year because you said you were going to do it, but also to get a boost for the next year. That's why I am very adamant about my challenges out there. It's not only good for me because I'm working on them, but it's also good for you to get clarity. And what's better than to gift yourself the gift of Christmas, which is to work on yourself, or to gift someone else that same gift. so they can work on themselves. Because here's the thing, when you are doing it together with someone else, it makes such a huge difference. So we talk about accountability partners, and well, actually, I well, the friend I've been talking about, you got me the ticket for the steam train. I think she has been my accountability partner for years now on end. And that's one of the reasons that I actually go and visit her like every week. Besides that, the kiddos love when I drop by. But it's about talking about what's going on, not just in life, but also at work, what I want to accomplish. She talks about those things as well. And it's kind of cool to see her grow. And on the other hand, to see myself grow because of her support. So, you know who you are. Thank you for doing so. And she has been a huge help in getting this place clutter free. And whenever I bring a box with stuff like I did last night. So, after the steam train ride, I drove to her house. We had a fun dinner, gourmet style. Well, actually, it's like with those little things that you could put on there, those little bites that you heat up, and it was kind of nice to actually do it. But afterwards, I got the box. The kids were somewhere else, and I took out all the stuff that I had. So I said, okay, where is this going to go? Is this going to the giveaway corner? Is this going to the after school? What do you call it? After school, where they take the children and take care of them. Oh, the care facility, the after school care facility, daycare. Yeah, so that one. Is it going to be put on marketplace? So where do people actually want to have this stuff? What needs to be thrown out? Done with it. So that was kind of nice. And I actually have this old iPad I haven't used in years. And she actually got a new one for her kids and herself. Well, when you're a single mom and you have children, none of it is your stuff. You want it to be your stuff, but kids. And of course, she wants to help them out too, even if it's only because they can play Pokemon with me. But yes, I've got a big iPad Pro nowadays, and I had that one fixed prior to buying the big one, and I didn't think I would take the big one with me as much as I do because, well, first of all, it's big, and second of all, there's a lot of weight to it. But I did do it, so I never used the old one again. So I said, you know what? Let's charge this one. We erased everything that was on there, and I said, well, I don't know what's wrong with it, but you might want to use it. It actually has a keyboard and everything. So I left it there. So I'm kind of curious what's going to happen, but I was like, it's going to be a lot easier dealing with two kids and yourself if you have an extra one. So that's what I did. And I cannot emphasize the importance of reaching out to other people, of hanging out with other people. So the friend I saw on I think you call it Boxing Day. We call it Second Christmas Day, but Boxing Day. She is a former colleague of mine. And it was kind of nice. It was a short visit. We met halfway in the country. But there was so much that we talk about. And it's kind of funny. I don't remember if you remember that I said I have a little bit of trouble reading what's on there, which is also part of the reason, which is also the result of me having slept with my contacts in. And then, there's a little bit of problem with the clarity of the contact lenses. But yes, focusing gets a little bit harder when you're my age. And actually, she's a few years younger, and she was using reading glasses to read what was on the menu, which was on the phone. Yes, there was a paper version too. And well, it's kind of nice to talk about certain things. So it gives a better understanding of what's going on in life, and it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not the only one who is experiencing these things. Now, of course, for me, things are very different because I am dealing with physical ailments, disabilities growing up. So for me, it's more like, okay, how do I adapt every time again and again? And especially, how do I hold on to what I've been able to do previously, which I also want to do again in later years? And watching people, like for instance, Tom Jones, we went to see him, Cheeky Joe and I did, when we were in Chicago. I went to see him before that, actually, here in the Netherlands. And I needed that to heal myself when my mom had passed away. So in the last days, in the last week, I found out in the last few weeks that she wasn't able to play the piano as well as she did before. So she could really, play a number of chords and do some stuff, but she had trouble reading sheet music. Now, she wasn't the best at reading sheet music previously, but she was at the level of a concert pianist. So she played like 3 hours a day. And there was one play I wanted to play with her, which was from Schubert. And not being able to do so was a big disappointment. It was also very eye-opening. And then when I saw Tom Jones, I was like, and I saw him on The Voice, and I was impressed with all the things that he did. I was like, I need to see that guy. And it gave me closure. So I wanted to go there with Cheeky Joe, and we tried to see if it was possible in the UK. But then all of a sudden, from one moment to the next, we looked down the subway, and there was the Chicago Theater, and we saw that Tom Jones was performing. Oh my God, that was so cool. And so we went to see him. Now, someone else two people who are actually 76 this year are Klaus Meine and Rudolf Schenker from the group The Scorpions. And they impressed me by still being on stage. I mean, I'm like, wow. So realizing so, I actually checked out their music and a lot of interviews from Rudy Schenker. And he talked about joy and how when you have fun, actually things are so different. So he is into meditation. I had no clue. So, well, I can say, in addition to my role model, Eric Carr, the drummer, remember, I now also have Rudy Schenker. I think James Kodak is on the list too, although he had some habits that I do not want to get into. Brandon Burchard, of course, is a huge role model for over a decade now, and I'm so fortunate to have met him in person. I know that he knows who I am, so that's kind of cool. And my goal is to be on stage with him one day, sharing my story and teaching training. That means that I've made it, if I can do so. And Evan Carmichael, very good one too, also a role model when it comes to YouTube. So those are a number of people that I really look up to because they have done the things that I still want to do and get out there. So, finishing the year strong. What is it that you are going to do this week to finish the year strong and to start the next year with a boost? Let me know. Type a comment. And don't forget to join the Christmas challenge. There are still a number of days left. So you have a fun time and you can focus on yourself because it's so important to put yourself first. And then you can support the ones around you. So happy holidays and don't forget it. Join the challenge.